What's up, people? Piz out here, and today I want to talk to you about 2020's Peninsula. Peninsula is the sequel to 2016's Train to Busan, and Train to Busan is one of the best zombie movies ever. Period. I reviewed Train to Busan back in 2017. I'll post a link to that review right here. Go over and check it out. As a sequel to Train to Busan, Peninsula has a lot to live up to, and if you saw the trailer for the film, it looked like Train to Busan meets The Fast and the Furious. More zombies, more action, a grander scope, a larger scale, a post-apocalyptic epic. However, the trailer was a bit deceptive. The movie picks up 4 years after the events of Train to Busan and finds South Korea a rotting, abandoned wasteland shut off from the rest of the world and overrun with zombies. 2 South Korean refugees now living in Hong Kong are given the opportunity for a fresh start and a hefty payday by sneaking back into the peninsula to retrieve a truck loaded with cash. Of course, plans go awry. The group are attacked by hordes of zombies and discover other survivors living in the wastelands, including a crazed military unit and a small family who escaped them. Sang Ho-yeon returns to co-write and direct, but Peninsula is a far cry from Train to Busan. Peninsula opens strong with survivors attempting to flee South Korea via boat. Things get a bit hairy when we discover that someone on board has been infected. The infection spreads quickly, creating chaos and some nice moments of tension. The opening of Peninsula is a quick reminder of how well done Train to Busan was. Much like Train to Busan, the opening of Peninsula provides kinetic, claustrophobic, tense, and heartbreaking moments. The rest of Peninsula, however, is quite the opposite. The movie abandons pretty much all of the elements that made Train to Busan so great, replacing them with an overabundance of needless plots, a plethora of characters, long stretches of time in which not very much happens, and some of the most cringe-inducing, painfully melodramatic moments I've ever seen. I'll give co-writer and director Sang Ho-yeon credit for wanting to make a broader, more ambitious film here. His inspirations are pretty obvious. The military unit that were brought in to help rescue survivors from the peninsula 4 years ago, only to be abandoned and are all pretty much insane now, entertain themselves by throwing survivors to zombies in a Thunderdome-like deathmatch. The last act of Peninsula features an exciting chase that echoes The Road Warrior. Unfortunately, Mr. Young, in his attempts to make an epic here, abandons just about everything that made Train to Busan so effective. First and foremost, the pacing. Peninsula's pacing is so leisurely and just uneven. There's no sense of menace here, either from the military units or even really the zombies. Instead of establishing the military unit as a threat, we're treated to a subplot involving dissension within their ranks. This could have worked if more time had been devoted to establishing the military unit instead of making them all just one-note bad guys. And the zombies in Peninsula are really easily distracted. Like, I get they're zombies, they're all messed up, but even when they have a victim cornered, all it takes to divert their attention and send them all running en masse in the opposite direction is a bright light or a loud sound. The movie spends a lot of time with a small family unit that have managed to survive both the zombies and the military by being really good drivers. The family treats us to unnecessary and really out-of-place feeling comedic moments, and there's one character whose sole purpose in the entire movie is to die in order for his death to hit us in the feels. It doesn't. Instead, it creates one of many head-scratching moments in this movie in which characters stand right out in the open for several minutes, loudly bawling their eyes out in a location where just mere moments before, hundreds, possibly thousands, perhaps even tens of thousands of zombies were, but are now, I don't know, maybe all the zombies were just being respectful of this character's death and giving the characters some free time to grieve before. Then we have the final 10 to 15 minutes of Peninsula, which consists of some of the most overlong, cringe-inducing, just painful to watch melodrama I've ever seen. Now, Train to Busan definitely had some moments that tugged at your heartstrings, particularly toward the end, and Peninsula tries way too hard to do the same, not once, not twice, but 3 times during the closing 15 minutes of this movie. It didn't quite tug at my heartstrings. It tugged at that place in the back of your throat. You know when you feel like you're about to throw up and your chin begins to quiver? Yeah, that's how I felt for a solid 15 minutes. Peninsula is a disappointing, meandering, at times nonsensical sequel to a great, great movie. Yes, there are some nice action sequences here and there, but don't be fooled by the trailer. Peninsula isn't an action-packed horror epic. There are some strong ideas here, the movie looks great, and the performances are pretty good. It just doesn't all come together, at least for me. I say skip it, just watch Train to Busan again. If you've seen Peninsula, please let me know your thoughts on the film down in the comments section below. If you like this video, please leave it a thumbs up and share it on social media. If you're not following me on social media, those links are in the description. As always, thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Take care, and until next time, peace. Right. A big thank you to all my awesome Patreon supporters. I appreciate your generosity and support of my channel. Become a patron today and join me for monthly live streams and have a say in what movies I review on my channel. Patreon.com/pizowell or follow the link in the description. Say hello to the internet, Jeremy.
Hello to the internet.